What's up, YouTube? This your girl Diamond Bella back with podcast number three or four. I can't quite remember. So I wanted to say what's up to my gems and my geodes out there, and I thought this podcast I'd tell you a little bit about myself. Well, I'm actually coming from another community, a gardening community, where I did a podcast on gardening, healthy eating, and community. I intertwine the topics. If you'd like, you can access this at ctvpod.org, Eclectic Talk. You'll see a whole bunch of hands in a circle holding some dirt and a plant. That is me. That's where I first came to learn about my passion for podcasting. I was one of those kids that had no direction in high school. People were like, be this, do this. And I wasn't passionate about it, so I couldn't fully engulf myself into it. And I found myself just going through the motions of life in a career, in a job, or whatever I did. I was just going through the motions, especially when it came to college. I started off in college and I was like, I want to be a nurse. And I worked real hard. I would say I was about an average student when I started off, because I wanted to help people. And so I was like, let me become a nurse. So I made it all the way to nursing school, took chemistry, all that. And do you know, and this is the funniest part, when I got to nursing school and I got to my clinical rotation, I remember the patient that they gave me. I was painting her nails, and I gave her a manicure, and they, the preceptor was like, honey, I don't think this is for you. And I said, I don't think so either, because I was like, I found out you had to deal with blood, and it just was not good. But I applied myself so deeply into doing that, I was like, I'm gonna do this, and da 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 da. So, from there, I went into education because I was like, well, I have all these credits. I'm near graduation. At that time, I had went through a divorce. I had 2 little kids, and I was like, I gotta make it out of here so I can take care of me and my 2 kids in our future. So I went over to education. I said, I'll be a teacher. They make a lot of money, I'll be a teacher. So I spent my first year, learned to make a curriculum, went to my practicum, and I was like, you know what, I don't think this is for me. I'm like, so what is it that I can do? I have to graduate. I've been in school all this time. And someone said, why don't you go for social work? And I said, no, they don't make any money. But I was like, okay, let me try it out. I went over into the social work department at the college I was attending, and I loved it. I found my passion. I was like, oh my gosh, but they don't get paid any money. Why be a social worker? So then I found out, well, you have to get a master's. So I graduated, took some time off, and then I went back to school and got a master's. And that's where I found my passion for people. I found my niche, and I found that my niche was different than what was typical. I didn't have a craft, so to speak, like people typically have a craft. They can make things with their hands. My craft was I had the ability to connect with people on a different level. And I really found that out as I went through my program. I started a small grassroots organization called Community Hands, and you can go and check that out at Community Hands Inc. at WordPress.com. It's communityhandsinc.wordpress.com. You can check that out. In 2014, I went and started that grassroots organization. Basically, my children gave me the seeds for that, and I built it, and I really wanted to build that for them, for the communities, and to leave a legacy for them. But it's in that I began podcasting to promote my nonprofit, and that's where it all accumulated through those years that I found my niche, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm good at. I'm good at relating to and talking to people. I'm good at talking. And I never knew myself. I took personality test after personality test. And it took time. And so that's my thing about education, especially when it comes to high school, junior high. If you're watching this and you have kids, help them get in tune to what they like, what they want to do. I was one of those kids that was disconnected from that because, I didn't know what to do. So it took me years to find out what it is that I wanted to do, what it is that I like to do. I think as long as it's not illegal, we should allow our children to explore what they want to do in life. And we should foster that if what they want to do in life, because those are the building blocks for our future society and and generations to come. So that was one thing. As my kids were growing up, I always fostered in them a sense to do what they wanted to do, just as long as it was ethically sound, legal. I tried to foster that in them. If they didn't want to go to college, I had them thinking, okay, what can you do to generate income? What is your niche? YouTube, I think that's why YouTube is so popular, because you have individuals that have found their niche, what they like to do, and thus the world has benefited because we've watched this take place. Who thought in a million years eating ice would be something that would be a thing? But it's all over YouTube, individuals eating ice. I watch it myself. And then I go grab some ice because I'm like, you know what? I got to go eat some ice now that I sit here and watch this. But that's what, you know, find your niche, what you like to do. Don't focus on the money. And that was a big lesson that I learned way back when I was in college. I was focusing on the dollar amount, not what would bring me joy and satisfaction and happiness, but I was more focused on how much money I could make and things like that. And it's when I started focusing on what truly makes me happy, my passions. That's when I began to soar. And so I always tell someone, what do you want? Do what you love to do, not do what you want to do. And don't do it how you want to do it, and don't think about the dollar amount and the success and the outcome, because sometimes those are short-lived and you're left empty. But do what you're passionate about. And if right now, for whatever reason, you can't do what you're passionate about, make a list, make a goal list, and strive for the things that you are passionate about, so that one day you can do what you're passionate about. And that was the whole thing that I learned at the beginning and the onset of this pandemic. We have a global reset. What are we going to do with that? A lot of us spent 3 months indoors, disconnected from jobs, society, some family, or we were either stuck with family or not stuck with family. So this was our reset, our chance to start over. What does that look like for you? How are you going to start over when everything returns back to normal? Now, I do want to say a second wave of this pandemic is coming. Stay healthy, wear your mask. Also, stock up on supplies right now. While everything is still at a pause and society is shifting, they are predicting that this COVID-19 is going to go back and be stronger and bigger than what it was. I would suggest, individuals stock up on supplies: sugar, flour, yeast, egg replacement, dried milk. Start your gardens as well. Rice, beans, noodles, canned goods of various sorts, condiments, things that have a shelf life and don't perish. I suggest everyone continue to stock up on those things. Don't get too relaxed. Also, peroxide and alcohol. Continue to stock up on those: toilet paper, paper towels, all that. Continue water. continue to stock up on it because we are going to have a second wave of this pandemic. And it kind of hit me when I was in Walgreens. Walgreens had a whole aisle and they were dedicating it to noodles. And I was like, as much as I've shopped at Walgreens, I've never seen this before. So that's what clicked in my head. If Walgreens is preparing for the second wave, I need to be preparing for the second wave. Thus, I need to tell my listeners, you guys need to prepare for the second wave of this pandemic. Well, it's been real. If you could leave me a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I've enjoyed it. And you have a nice week. Stay healthy, stay protected. You can hit me at THE1TimeandBell@gmail.com. And I'll see you again at the next podcast.